I married my husband 3 years ago. He was divorced and previously widowed. He has 2 daughters. Annie, who is now 26, I believe, from his first marriage, and Amy, who is 17, from his second. My husband told me about his late wife, his ex-wife, the issues he had as a blended family when he remarried, and Annie was not on board with him remarrying, and the fact this strain ended his second marriage. He was also honest that Annie never forgave him for remarrying and never wanted anything to do with Amy or him after she turned 18. What he did not tell me was the major role he played in all of this. I found this out 3 weeks ago at a dinner with his extended family. The story as I now know it. When Amy was around 5 years old, she took a special interest in a necklace that belonged to his late wife. My husband gave the necklace to Amy, which upset Annie because all her mother's possessions were meant to go to her. My husband told Annie that it was just one item and she needed to get over it because Amy was entitled to have something too. Annie had brought up that it was the piece her mother wore the most. My husband told her that it was a special gift to give to her sister, that she was being selfish. His ex-wife told her that her mother would want someone as special as your sister to have a piece of her as well. Annie never got over it. She tried to take it from Amy and was punished. The last time she saw any of them, she told them all to go to fucking hell. Amy still has the necklace too. She has let it get into a bad way and talks about it as if her dad bought it for her. I was shocked. I never would have expected my husband to be that way. He was very unapologetic about it and told me Annie would have to get over it someday. I told him he should be ashamed of himself, that he should have allowed Anna's mother's possessions to be hers, to do with as she chose, that Amy did not give a crap about his late wife or the significance of those items, but Annie would have. I told him he will be incredibly lucky if his daughter ever speaks to him again, and I would not blame her if she never did. He was furious I judged him. His family said I should take my husband's side over his daughter, who I don't even know, except for the nephew and niece who told the whole story, because they also think my husband did a fucked up thing. ATA? NTA. Losing a parent at a young age is bad enough, and not having your remaining parent respect your boundaries when it comes to items of the deceased parent is just terrible. Op did nothing wrong and spoke the truth to her husband. He has no one to blame but himself, that he doesn't have a relationship with his eldest daughter. To gild the lily, he then chose to bring his family into the argument with you, which is never good. NTA. His family is as immoral as he is. People of integrity side with the person who was wronged, regardless of their relationships. You did the right thing in calling out your husband. He is responsible for the split and he should be ashamed. Interestingly, the person who could heal this whole mess is Amy, who is approaching adulthood and maybe could reassess her childish wants in a more grown-up context. I'm certainly not advocating that the necklace gets lost and Monte Cristo'd to the person it should have gone to. NTA, but your husband certainly is. Amy most certainly was not entitled to her stepsister's dead mother's jewelry. You are married to a Negradar. To add husband knew what he did was wrong, otherwise he would not have left it out, especially if it was one of the primary reasons for his estrangement from Annie. Just because he is her husband does not mean Op has to agree with him on everything. Maybe if a long time ago some of his family had expressed how it was wrong, he could have remedied the situation and still have a relationship with his eldest daughter. I hope you don't have kids. That'll make the inevitable divorce a lot trickier. Not with my husband. I have 2 adult children, but the divorce won't affect them really. NTA, they don't sound they have morals. OMG, who in their right mind takes their child's inheritance and give it to another just like that and acts that they did something wrong. I feel this is a red flag. Right? This sounds like Cinderella's father getting remarried and the stepmom saying she should be grateful her mother's necklace is going to a special girl like her stepsister. It's insane. NTA. Geez, what would he do with your things? Do you have children? 2 adult children, yes, and those were exactly my thoughts. He would probably screw my kids over far easier, since he could do it to his own daughter. NTA, but your husband is a huge \SOMETHINGVERYINSULTING \. I'd find Anna's address and send her the necklace. Or ask the cousins who may be in touch with her to give it back. It would at least give Annie some comfort. You'll need to do this quietly. Otherwise, hubby and Amy could report it as stolen, resulting in Annie having to give it back. Tell the cousins she needs to keep quiet about it. Avoid wearing it around mutual friends and family. Then, if I were her, I'd get it fixed and show up wearing it to daddy's funeral. NTA. This is horrible advice and you should ignore me, but if Amy let the necklace get into a bad way, does that mean she doesn't take care of it and her losing it would be believable? Because that would be a huge shame. And those cousins being able to secretly get it back to Annie would also be absolutely terrible. But I have no idea of the legal ramifications that could come from such a terrible sequence of events. Oh, she'd know if she lost it, but she has let it get broken/damaged in so many different ways. It looks so different from a photo of it from a few years ago, which is such a shame given the history there. NTA for all the reasons you mention. How callous of your husband and his family to do such a thing. They knowing kept that vital piece of information away from you. BC, they all knew they were the R's eater. Just BC, he's your husband doesn't mean you always have to side with him. You get to have your own opinions too. His family sucks. NTA. Husband and his family are taking away your right to your own opinions already. This is a huge red flag. Annie was entitled to everything of her mother's and Amy is entitled to almost everything of her mother's as the ex-wife was a stepmom to Annie. I would have told him the same thing and would be filing for divorce too. Annie feels like she has no one in her corner to stick up for her. Your husband and his family are a piece of work and all Lars and Amy should give the necklace back. NTA, but I'm wondering what led to the divorce from Amy's mom. Clearly, he didn't care about Anna's feelings to let it affect his outlook on life. So what made the marriage get to the point where the divorce was the only option? When you married this dude, did he come across as an emotionally mature human being? Because not understanding that grieving daughter watching her mom's things being given away to someone else equals more pain for daughter seems like a huge emotional red flag. He did. He came across as far more caring too. He expressed regret for how things had turned out with Annie. Yet when all this came out there was none of that. He was so confident and sure he did the right thing. He was downright cold about it. NTA. Need more info. Did you talk to Amy about the true origins of the necklace? This is not right. Your husband is the worst. Amy is aware of the true origins. She just spins a story for everyone else. NTA. I lost my first wife a little over 20 years ago. She and I had 2 daughters together. They both were under 8 when she was killed. When they were old enough, I gave them everything that I had of hers. Still to this day, if I find something I hand it over. Husband is a huge a-hole. NTA. Your husband and the family who agree with him are walking trash though. NTA. This is horrible. Is there any way you could take the necklace and find a way to message Annie and arrange for it to get back to her? I don't think I could. I have never had any contact with Annie, and I'm not sure how I would get it out of the house either. But I would love to see Amy return it to her sister. I don't see it happening though. NTA. Amy wasn't entitled to have something of Anna's mother. She liked something her older sister owned and was a meaningful memory to her from her late mother. She was given it immediately despite the objection of Annie. She doesn't even acknowledge who the necklace belonged to. The father's and the stepmother's words tells a lot about the way they treated Annie. Your husband was a huge asshole to his daughter. Telling the truth doesn't make you one. He is what he is. An asshole. On a side note, his ex-wife is an asshole too. NTA. Sounds like you found the real reason for 3 marriages. What's Amy's stance on this now? She's old enough to realize how much it hurt her sister. She still won't give it back. She does not appear interested in doing that. Hope you're not planning on having kids with him, because he's already proven that he'll play favorites to the point of driving his kid out of his life. NTA for calling him out though. Nope. My days of having children are over. I already have 2 grown kids. No more for me. NTA. Perhaps you should take some time to reflect on your husband's actions over the time you known, based on this new information to see if his "my way or the highway" response are how he has always been with you and others when he makes decisions. Only you can determine if this latest information is a deal breaker. If it is, you might wish to safely remove anything you care about from your home before you share that decision. NTA. The fact that he withheld this little tidbit from you for so long gives the game away. He *KNOWS* he did something bad. Something that might have changed your mind about marrying him had you known about it sooner. The details of why he's estranged from his eldest child spoke to his character, and he knew they made him look shitty. He hid this deliberately. If he truly felt right and justified, he would've had no problem telling you about this, fully expecting you to be on side. Yeah, I bet he's mad at you. Just like he's mad at his eldest daughter. He doesn't want his most shameful choices to be brought to light or challenged, and he doesn't want to have to go through this again with wife #4. So he's gonna do his level best to convince you that *HE'*S** right and *YOU'*RE* hysterical, and hope you back down just to keep the peace. I think I would divorce him over this big of lie. His family is stupid to think that you should take his side when he screwed up so bad. NTA. Yep, and try to return the necklace before doing so. Ensure it became lost. Play dumb, have it restored, then return it to its rightful owner if possible. Outright lie and say I had a replacement made to make it up to her. It's clearly not the same as it's not in a crappy condition like the original I lost. Then cut those trash people out of my life. Their actions show such revolting character you could never look at them the same. NTA. That was an incredibly callous thing to do to Annie. Though on the plus side, you now know you married a guy who'll bend over backwards for his wife, no matter the damage to his kids. So, good for you, I guess. NTA. Terrible behavior and decision from your husband. I can see why his first daughter carries so much resentment here. It was such a bad idea from all the adults involved. NTA. But your husband and your youngest stepdaughter are. What a cruel thing to do to a grieving child who lost her mother. When I lost my mum, her mother threw out all her belongings without letting us go through any of it, leaving us with very little mementos of our mother. For this, and other actions, I'm NC with that side of the family. I'm appalled by this. Fuck that. Try and get the necklace back, and get it returned to Annie via the cousins, who told you about the real reason for the estrangement. Then I'd leave him, because that's next level bad behavior, and the fact he hid it is because he knows what he did. The only way YWBTA is if you stayed with him. NTA. How on earth could he justify doing that to his daughter? That is just cruel. Because it got him sex points with his new wife. Duh. His sex life is more important than his kid. I'm being sarcastic. NTA. Get the necklace back and give it to Annie. I think that ship has sailed and burned and sunk to the bottom. NTA. He kept this from you for a reason. If he truly thought he did nothing wrong, he would have told you, but the fact he didn't, and his reaction shows that deep down he knows the truth. NTA. Your husband is a mega R times infinity.